Hey everyone. Sorry I'm starting off a little late here, but should be good and set in a little bit. Just hope everyone is doing okay. Sure you all here, Ollie. He's doing his fine thing. I have a few videos I wanna watch, you know? Few videos I wanna watch and talk about. And maybe just chat. Hold on, I didn't even change the stream. Oh. Alright. I might even play some P Rising later. I do need to hop on. Uh, Today I had a pretty nice day. Hung out with my girlfriend all day. The vibe. Mm-hmm. I'm just glad I had off today. Okay, so I'm gonna do a video, I guess. What do I want to watch first?
So it's been
Let me pause that. I do like this. I like the Defiant. They have really good YouTube channel. I want to see what they had. Oh, that's a long video. There are a couple videos that I wanted to watch, but some of them are pretty long. I do want to watch the video over the other side, so I might do that. I might do that if you all don't mind. Excuse me. Man, I looked up lo-fi music and it didn't even play it. Okay, there we go. We got a little bit. Ollie's kind of in the way where I'm at, so I can't really scoot over. I think we're gonna be watching a few videos. Gonna chat about stuff. I'm just doing me today. I need to figure out when I'm gonna play Heavy Rain again, because I really need to do that. I just realized there's no music here, so I need to add the audio manager. Add existing audio manager. So now you can hear the music at least. I do want to watch the video on what the Bored Ape stuff was supposed to be. Oh, where you moved, Ollie? Thank you. Probably just gonna stream for a little bit. For tomorrow. Mm. Okay. Let's go to the browser scene here. And let's watch. So right now, actually, let me refresh this page. It's all good and clean. All right, so the first video we're starting off with is Problem Player Doesn't Like Guns in D&D, a narrated D&D story. It's by All Things D&D, so you can check them out, give them a like. Let's see what they have in here. They have some links. Peep them out, check them out. Go check the video out and follow them so you can watch all their other stuff. But that's what I'm looking at today. Let's see what's happening.
Problem Player Doesn't Like Guns in D&D. Hi everyone, All Things D&D is back with 2 stories about DM.
Is it a problem? Is the player a problem player if they don't because they don't like guns in D&D, or are they a problem player because like they just are a bad individual to play with?
Having players waltz through your encounters that you thought would be challenging can be a bit frustrating. Having encounters that are literally impossible to beat unless the DM allows the players to win is even more frustrating. Listen to how these 2 different DMs handle encounters and how their players react. So this is a story.
Okay, so this I guess this is going to be 2 stories. So let's get into this first one and see what happens.
Story about how me using a musket in D&D apparently made one of the other players angry. Cast, DM, my new friend I met a few weeks ago. I don't know how much of an experienced DM he is, but he DM'd a few sessions already. Druid, Fighter, Warlock, and Cleric. Players that are not that important for this story. Bob, Elf Ranger, the problem player. Me.
Okay, so I was hoping that Bob the Elf Ranger was going to be using the gun, but I guess they are the problem player. But the reason why I was hoping that the Elf Ranger was going to be using the gun is because I guess whenever I play D&D, everyone kind of tells me how lame Rangers are, and I guess a gun would be a way to make them kind of cool, but I don't know.
Me, Human Gunslinger. Before I start,
okay.
I have to explain that I used a homebrew class with homebrew backstory. We of course tried to make it balanced so my character won't be overpowered.
Okay, so I think I can see how the Ranger could feel some type of way about the homebrew gunslinger, considering, to me, homebrew can be a little overpowered, considering, you're just making stuff up on the fly, and you probably would want your character to be as awesome as possible rather than being lame, you know?
We also made some changes to how muskets work, and we
Okay.
expanded its firing range from 40 to 120, which is
I feel like that's still a little overpowered with guns in D&D. Like everyone's shooting fireballs, and you're like, you know what? Boom, gun, dead, shot him, got him. Didn't even need the party.
just
But then again, it is a musket, so I guess it's like not as good.
a bad joke, to 120 to 480. We were thinking about changing the damage, since muskets use D12.
Hold on. So we expanded the fire rate, expanded its fire range from 40 to 120, which is just a bad joke. Wait, hold on. Let's
To
see.
120 to 480.
Which is just a bad joke to 120 to
We were
480.
thinking about changing the damage, since muskets use D12, and most heavy range weapons use
Okay.
D10, but we decided that having reload mechanic, misfire mechanic, and being loud as heck will compensate for these 2 damage points.
All
We
right.
also raised misfire from 2 to 3, so there was a greater chance for the weapon to break. DM also made some lore changes for the muskets. In his world, there was no gunpowder. Instead of that, people were using a crystal powder from magic crystals. Works in a similar way, but instead of lighting it on fire, you just had to use some force to make it explode.
Okay, that's
And
pretty cool.
instead of making a lot of smoke when you shot, it emitted a quick flash of blue light. Our characters started at level 3, so I already picked a marksman for my class. We also decided that I won't be trying to make or obtain any modern guns, and I will stick with my musket.
Now that makes it a little bit more, I guess, fair, considering, you know, he's not going to end up with a auto firing gun by the end of the game and just mowing down hordes of enemies with ease without it. Well, you know what I'm saying? Like, imagine that. You get like what? He just gets like he makes any sort of modern gun, and since there's no gunpowder, you just have this little crystal stuff, and you just be like, Bink, we win. It'd probably be a lot easier to make the weapon. Well, I know there's a enchantment you can get which allows you to pretty much shoot magic, I think magic arrows without even, huh? That would be kind of overpowered.
The DM promised since my character is very attached to his weapon and won't swap it with anything, he'll figure out another way for me to get stronger in fights as the story progresses.
Okay.
So instead of picking up loot like weapons with +1 or +2 bonuses, I'll be upgrading my own weapon. First session. Our story started in a small mountain village. Our party meets at the local inn. We sat down at the table, ate, and talked a bit. We agreed that we had a common goal that was getting to the other side of the mountains, so we should stick together. At the same time, a group of bandits suddenly came to the village.
What a perfect session zero this is. How do you say?
They rode into the village on horses and immediately demanded money and food from farmers and villagers. The innkeeper explained to us that these bandits from time to time come to this and other villages to collect payment for security and asked us to leave before we get noticed. However, most of our characters were good or lawful, so that was not an option. We decided that I and the ranger would take a position on the roof of the house next to the inn, and the rest of the party would go outside to confront the bandits.
Okay.
A short conversation ensued between the bandits and the party, which gave us time to take a position. We decided to start the fight with quick shots from the roof as a surprise round. I targeted the bandit who was talking to our fighter, because I suspected he was the leader of this group. DM. Okay, you two still did not get noticed and have your targets in sight.
Wait. So they got that? They got that stealth like that? That's pretty clean.
What do you do? Me. I target the bandit and shoot him with a musket. Bob. You what? Until then, I never used the words gun or musket, so maybe he didn't know what I was using. Me. What? Bob. You can't use that kind of weapon. Me. Why? Bob. Because this is a fantasy campaign. There are no muskets in fantasy. Me. What? Of course there are. Bob. No, this is fantasy. DM. There are muskets and firearms. I mentioned that on session 0. Here, a discussion took place which lasted a good 10 to 15 minutes.
Oh my
Me and
gosh.
DM were
So did this guy like show up to session 0 and just like fall asleep and not even pay attention to what was going on? Bruh, come on now.
arguing with Bob, and the rest of them decided to stay neutral. In general, Bob tried to convince us that there should be no firearms in fantasy.
So he waited until after session 0 to mention that there should not be any muskets? Okay.
He gave Lord of the Rings as an example,
Okay, bro.
saying it is real fantasy and there are no firearms there. While I cited that even in Critical Role they used firearms, then Bob said something like, "You're not
Yo, do you want to react to a song? I can, but I'm gonna watch this right here first. Is it on YouTube or SoundCloud?
Critical Role and you are not Matt Mercer," or something like that. Finally, Cleric joined the conversation, probably already irritated by this, and pointed out that this universe does not use gunpowder but magic crystals. And if magic is so powerful that you can create fireballs and stuff like that, why can't it be used to push a metal ball through a metal tube at high speed? Thank you, Cleric, for that. I hope you're listening to this. This basically killed the argument, and moments later we got back into the game.
Makes sense.
Finally, I shot the bandit. I used a violent shot to deal more damage. I used 2 grid points, C-link to class, and rolled 3 D12 plus modifiers. I don't remember how much I did, but the DM said, "DM, okay, he's dead. How
Oh,
do you want to
shit.
kill him?" Me, already? Okay. I take aim and shoot him right in the side of his head. Bob, WTF? What is this damage?
Bruh, I wish I could use I wish I could have used the gunslinger in D&D. That would have been overpowered. Okay, you said it's called Word of Advice on SoundCloud. All right, let me see if I can get some SoundCloud pull up. Do you know who it's by? Did you make it? Did you make it? Rip 13? Okay, if you did. Anybody judging? Word of advice. What kind of song is it? Is it a rap song? Is it a rock song? What do we got here? Cause I got a few songs with that name. I'm gonna keep watching the video by Rando Montana. Okay. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know if they have that. Maybe it's this. I'll listen to it in a little bit.
Me, I
Thank you.
used 2 of my skills to do this. It's not like I'll do this every turn. The rest of the fight had gone rather smoothly.
I'll add word of advice on the queue. Right now we're watching a pro player doesn't like guns in D&D, but I am down to listen to some music if you got some stuff and it's not going to get me flagged, you know? But right now we have this on the queue, so if you don't mind sitting through like 7 minutes of this, yeah, I can listen to your song.
but Bob mumbled something under his breath every now and then, mostly when I was dealing more damage than him. From that moment on, his character's behavior changed completely, and suddenly he turned from a friend to my rival. He started to get whiny and thought I had stolen his kills every time I killed a low HP enemy. Anyway, we killed all the bandits, got a small reward from the villagers, and went to sleep in the tavern. This is where our first session ended.
Have any of you played D&D? It's pretty fun.
As far as I know, between sessions, Bob tried to convince the DM to remove firearms from his game.
Huh.
He did it on private chat, but DM took the conversation to group chat so everyone can see it, and said that he won't remove firearms from his game, and if it bothers Bob so much, he can just leave, because no one else has this problem. Session 2 started with Bob sneaking into my room to take my gun.
Bruh. So annoying.
He had high rolls, so I did not wake up. Luckily, there's a rule saying that stealing, breaking, and throwing away other players' stuff is not allowed. So Bob decided to jam my weapon. DM allowed it, but in the last effort to save my gun from this guy, he made him roll to check if he knew how to do it. Bob tried to argue, but DM stated that he had to know how the weapon works to jam it. Lucky Bob rolled not so well, and
yeah, that's good DM right here.
the only idea his character got was to stick a rock into the barrel. Bob wanted to re-roll this, because we all knew this was stupid, but DM stated that he'll be able to try again the next day.
Okay.
So yeah, my character quickly noticed a rock in the barrel, and removed it, which pissed Bob off. It was actually the only interesting thing that happened this session, besides him complaining every single time I killed someone, or rolled a high damage. Finally, the third and as far last session came.
Sorry homie's doing DPS.
It went pretty well, and there's not much to talk about for most of the session. At the end of that session, our characters were approaching an old fortress in the mountains. It was intended to be an outpost for the bandits, because it turned out those bandits from Season 1 were part of a much larger group that will for sure seek revenge for their killed friends. We set up a camp on a high ground near fortress, and decided to wait to attack until early morning. At night, Bob again tried to play with my...
What up, Nigel? How you doing, man? We out here watching some YouTube videos, reacting. What games are you on now?
gun, but this time he rolled badly enough for my character to wake up. I described how he grabs his musket and puts it to Bob's character's neck.
Oh,
I also
man.
marked him as my target, to remove disadvantage from attacking targets at close range. We had a short chat in character. It was basically me telling him not to move and stay away from my gun.
You're on 2K right now? Right now I've been playing Heavy Rain and V Rising, but I kind of took a break from both of those. I just kind of been chilling the last week. I've been doing like little reaction videos, kind of. So I've just been watching YouTube, talking about the video, taking pauses, you know.
I was kind of saying it in and out of character, because I was a bit sick of this. Bob tried to describe how his character grabbed the barrel of my gun and pushed it away from his neck. I pointed out that I was warning him I will shoot him if he moves, and asked DM if I can do that. Dick move, I know, but I just wanted him to stop. DM stated that we will do a dex roll. If Bob wins, he will push my weapon away. However, if I win, I will be able to shoot him as he grabs my gun.
Ooh.
I promised Bob that I will use all my points to put the whole 5d12 plus mod into his character's head.
Dang, bro. That is crazy. Is this gonna be a TPK?
I knew that I had a good chance to down him in one shot, since he had something around 35 max hit points.
Ooh.
He backed off. Session ended around an hour later, with our characters approaching the fortress. This week we'll have another session, but I don't really know what Bob is planning to do, and to be honest, it's getting kinda boring. I feel like my DM should kick Bob from the game, or at least order him to stop with his anti-firearm.
Watch Strange 2 yet? Nah, I haven't yet, man. I need to go to the theater. I probably should do that sometime this week. I think that'd be fun.
behaviors. I can't believe this player is upset that guns exist in a fantasy world. If the world doesn't suit their fantasy, it's time for them to move on. This next problem player takes his in-game issues to the next level. My one and only experience with actually playing.
Alright. So for story 1, that guy was kind of an asshole, man. Like, if you don't want to play in a D&D game where there's guns, I mean, don't play in the D&D game. Don't try to ruin everyone else's fun if they don't think like you, because that doesn't make any sense, like at all.
Playing TTRPGs was when I was a freshman in college. Our group consisted of 5 people. Dave, DM, myself, Rogue, Paul, Fighter, and the problem player, Alex, Wizard, and Bob, Monk. Paul was the only one of us who lived off campus at the time, so we'd usually meet at his house to play. At first, Paul was perfectly fine to play with. Over time, though, he started to do more and more to push the rest of us aside, and make himself the center of attention.
Okay.
In the first incident I can think of, we had just found a small lockbox containing the cure to a plague that was affecting a local town. I said I picked the lock, or at least that's what I was about to say. I got as far as, before Paul jumped in with, I smashed the box.
Wait, what?
Dave asked him if he was sure, and several other players asked him not to. I even told him that I had lockpicks right here, but he was adamant, and so he did succeed in smashing the box, scattering powdered medicine all over the room, ruining it.
Man.
After that, he began to do more and more to draw attention to himself. Once we were meeting an informant at a tavern. Naturally,
so this guy wanted to be the main character. I'm playing the game. Yeah, so this guy right here wanted to be the main character of the D&D. That's what it's annoying for me. He just sit over here just trying to make the story all about him. Which is not cool at all. Alright, thank you, man. Thank you.
the fighter didn't have much to do, so he randomly went over to the biggest, burliest guy in the tavern and tried to pick his pocket. This failed, kicking off a bar brawl and ruining our chance to get information from the informant.
Okay.
Towards the end of the campaign, this would even extend to his IRL.
Why was this guy trying to... again, I did answer it already. He was wanting to be the main character of the campaign, so I mean, he's trying to, set off the adventure the best way that, I guess, they know how.
Behavior. When someone else was narrating what they were doing, he'd randomly interrupt to ask some pointless question, or he'd randomly roll his dice for no reason, or yawn loudly. Anything to draw attention to himself. Since Paul was the host, we had agreed from the beginning that the rest of us would take turns providing the snacks. One session, he brought food anyway, just so he could then whine about how much it cost. I don't want to seem ungrateful for free food, especially as a student, but hearing him complain over and over and over again about money when nobody had asked him to buy anything in the first place really got tiring after a while. Also, he hadn't told anyone that he was going to do this, so the guy that was supposed to provide food that day, Dave, if I remember right, had already brought food, and so didn't actually save anything through his generosity. It all came to a head at the end of the year. This was going to be our last session for the semester, so we could all concentrate on studying for finals. We were setting up, and the conversation mostly revolved around said finals. Alex just casually mentioned that the test he was most concerned about was already behind him. He had been working on his pilot's license, and had just taken his check ride, and was now a fully licensed private pilot.
Man, I don't know, this guy, he annoyed me so much. All he had to do was sit down, chill, and play the game.
As you might expect, this completely derailed the conversation. We were all amazed, and piled him with questions about being a pilot, and flying, and planes in general. Well, all of us except Paul, who kept telling us to hurry up and start the game, even though we were still setting up as we were talking. Paul then started regaling us with stories about how his grandfather had been a fighter pilot in World War II, and how he knew a guy that was a pilot for a major airline. When that didn't succeed in taking the attention away from Alex, he told everyone that he'd once been in a major plane crash, and had been lucky to escape with his life. When we all called BS on his story, he just kind of shut down. Didn't say another word beyond the absolute minimum required to actually play the game. A shut crash, and didn't succeed in taking the attention away from Alex. He told everyone that he'd once been in a major plane crash, and had been lucky to escape with his life. When we all called BS on his story, he just kind of shut down. Didn't say another word beyond the absolute minimum required to actually play the game. Just sat there and sulked. This naturally killed the mood at the table, and we wound up wrapping up early and heading home. Before we left, however, we all asked Alex if he could take us flying. Paul, of course, said he was busy, no matter when we suggested to meet. This actually worked out for us because the place Alex rented from only had 2- and 4-seater planes available. So if it had been all 5 of us, he would have had to take us up in shifts. Hearing that only made Paul grumpier. Now, to understand this next part, you need to know that the FAA draws a sharp line between flying for fun and flying for profit. With certain exceptions, a private pilot isn't allowed to charge for their services, and in fact must pay their fair share of flying expenses. Of course, back then it would be a lot harder for an ordinary individual to know that. The internet wasn't nearly what it is now, and the FAA didn't routinely publish all its rules on their website like they do today. So the only way to know was if you had read through a physical copy of the rulebook, or if someone had explained it to you. For instance, if you were listening in when a pilot was explaining the rules to some friends that he was planning a pleasure flight with. I'm sure you can see where this is going. Our first week back, Alex told me that he was under investigation by the FAA. Somebody claimed that we had paid him for our little flight. We each had to go to the FAA office and testify that we hadn't paid Alex anything. Of course, we all suspected who had done it, but we had no proof. That is until we found out that Paul had been telling all our circle of friends that Alex had lost his license. Alex said he hadn't told Paul about the investigation, so the only way he'd even suspect that Alex might be in trouble was if he'd been the one to make the false report. This was confirmed when Alex and I, and some other friends, were eating lunch one day, and he walked up. the first time we'd seen him since the end of last semester, and
Ooh.
smugly asked Alex what it was like being grounded like the rest of us plebs.
Oh my
We all
gosh.
stopped being Paul's friend, and the FAA would go on to dismiss its case against Alex for a lack of evidence. Well,
Great.
that person is hot garbage. Can you even imagine?
Yeah, dude, that guy was an asshole. Like, what is wrong with that guy? He's just like, you know what? Let me just try to ruin this guy's life, you know? Let me just ruin his day. I can't fly, so you can never fly. But all right, yeah, that's a problem player by I guess all what is it? What we got here?
Imagine being that bitter of.
Yeah, who's this guy again? Sorry. All things D&D. Gotta watch that. All right. So, what was your name, homie? Crypt 13? Crypt? Are you still here, buddy? If you're here, I was gonna play your song. If you're not, I'm gonna continue playing what I was watching. You still here, buddy? Let me know. You got a few seconds before I go on to the next. I go on to the next. Because as much as I appreciate you providing me a wonderful song, I was one, unable to find it on SoundCloud, and two, unable to find it on YouTube. Excuse me. But I think I found something similar. But hey, again, thank you.
We
Thank
had
you
one
for the opportunity. But yeah. Alrighty. What did I have here? Um, what do we want to do? What do we want to do, guys? We want to watch. Let's watch something. Let's watch something about crypto. What happened? What happened soon? You know what? I want to know what happened into the other side. So I'm gonna watch his other side video, and we can learn about crypto together. How about that? I'm sad that Crypt isn't here, man. Like, he popped a video and then left. Sucks. Sucks. All right, you all. This is going to be video 2 within what we're watching today. So, I hope you enjoy. Yeah. And let me put this browser back on. Boom. Here we go. So, this is the Board 8 Yacht Club. 8, The Other Side, and Codas. Everything you need to know by The Defiant. All right. They are. Hold on. Let me get back over here. Yeah. They are a wonderful, wonderful team. We follow them for a little bit. They only have 114,000 subscribers. And yeah. I believe they have some links. So when you come here, you can come and, check it out, watch it, peep them. You know how it is. I do want to see, actually, let's go to the other side. Let's go to yuga.com and the other side. Let's see what these websites look like real quick before we. Oh man, that's pretty dope. So this is Yuga Labs. This is just their website. So they ain't got nothing really here. Okay, and then we have, what is it? Enter the other side. So you just like, can you join? Like, is there stuff to do, or like, do I have to like purchase using ApeCoin? Okay, come as you are. So like, are these the? I guess these are the projects that are like partnered in with him. That's pretty cool. They have like an SDK, so I guess you could like build on the project, but I don't think you can really do anything unless you have a NFT. Probably an other deed. You buy one. No, they're sold out for sure. I remember the gas was like outrageous. So yeah, you have to go to the. Oh my goodness. OpenSea it's updated a lot. I'll do like this interface. Man, it costs like what minimum bid, top bid. Nah, buy now. What do we have now? You can buy now. So the only one you could buy right now is 2.84. That's pretty expensive. That's pretty cool though. I do like that. Yeah, the floor. All right, let's watch the video. Oh, he has a Bored Ape. I forgot.
How you doing? Welcome to this extra special D-bag edition of the Defiant. Check it.
Hey, it's okay, man. We still love you.
Man's got a scorpion on his back, yeah?
Yeah, dude. Cool scorpion on the back.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's talk silos, powerful containers of value, but limited by their side. The vast majority of crypto communities are silos, powerful, yes, but limited by...
What did he just put in there? He just put apples, full oranges. What is that other stuff? He just put it on top.
by their ability to reach the level
It's like, I don't know.
of universality that defines mega success. And if you think I'm turning that on, you got another thing coming. Let's get rid of that. Now,
I'm so glad
there are clear examples
I was gonna be scared if he cut that thing on, man. Like, what the heck was he gonna? What was that gonna be?
of projects that have managed to transcend their boundaries, becoming a layer above the silos, connecting them together, feeding off their energy, and becoming the most powerful forces in the cryptoverse. I call them meta-communities, communities of communities. And if you want a good example of one, think Binance. That, for me, is the preeminent example. And if we're to...
Yeah, Binance is pretty cool, but that's just because like they're like a crypto like I guess they're like a CEX, so they're like a central exchange for crypto. And then that exchange is built, or yeah, the transactions are built on the Binance network, and it's mostly centralized, but it's still their blockchain, which is that's pretty cool. They build like they have their own ecosystem, their own NFTs, their own all that, and it's an EVM, so that you can trade between Ethereum and them, and it's supposed to act as like a personal layer for their ecosystem, which is I think that's pretty cool. I think they were like one of the first teams to do that. I know there's Polygon or Matic now, and there are a lot of projects that are built on top of Matic, and there are some things that I'm wanting to build for the crypto space as well. So that's what the whole Taco Labs thing is about. But enough about me. I'm gonna get back into this thing and see what he has to say about the whole Bored Ape adventure metaverse thing.
understand the ambitions of Yuga Labs with the other side, coders and ApeCoin, of course, then this is where we must start. The other side as a meta community to unite an entire menagerie of other NFT communities, with Ape, the liquidity layer powering commerce, gameplay, and social intercourse, and bundled with it, a mysterious new creature, the coder. You want a deep dive? Well, this is it. This is the Defiant. Out of the way first, what is the other side? Well, this is Yuga Labs' big metaverse play. Now, they raised $450 million at a $4 billion valuation in a round led by A16Z. And no, that is not chump change. That's Billy Big Ball's money. And it's there to fund an aggressive breakout move from the silo of the Bored Ape Yacht Club to something much, much bigger and much more meta. Now that level of funding indicates a staggering level of confidence in Yuga. Confidence that can only be earned through repeated excellence of execution, as well as, of course, extraordinary profitability. In fact, aside from the bizarre left-field neo-Nazi narrative, some clunky merch sales, and the offensive kamikaze headbands on the dogs, they've barely put narrative, some clunky merch sales, and the offensive kamikaze headbands on the dogs, they've done repeated excellence of execution, as well as, of course, extraordinary profitability. In fact, aside from the bizarre left-field neo
This is crazy. So they low-key made like a I don't know how I feel about that. That's a this is crazy. So hold on. Let's make a journal. I'm making a journal of things we need to talk about, man. Look into. So we got first thing, we got the Bored Ape Yacht Club equal neo Nazis? Question mark. Do we need to do like a research thing on that? Because that'd be pretty dope. So they have that.
Nazi
and then
narrative, some clunky.
So apes on update on Coinbase Commerce issue with today's drop. Those who submitted multiple payments on a single order or received a late payment or no payment message when in fact your payment went through will be fronted in full, including all transaction fees.
Merch sales and the offensive kamikaze headbands on the dog.
So then they released the Bored Ape Kennel Club and they have kamikaze headbands. What is up with that? So they have their main logo is people are claiming it is similar to neo-Nazi. That's wild. And the Kennel Club has what? They said the offensive kamikaze headband. That is, I don't know how I feel about that.
Dogs, they've barely put a foot wrong. And aside from Artifact, I can't think of a team that has executed.
We have Artifact, RTFKT. Do we need to look them up too? Well, they're not connected to Bored Ape, but
as well so consistently. Now, it's easy to forget when Bored Apes launched, CryptoPunks were the talk of the town, the big sales, the social media flex.
Yeah, I remember that.
But then something weird happened. Celebrities started buying apes. Guy O'Siri signed them. They delivered serums, mutants, a treasure hunt, and then the ApeCoin DAO delivered the token. And now, a year later, here we are. Is your crypto sitting idle without earning you any passive income? On Nexo, you can maximize the value of your crypto app RT. The next 0.5 car collateral PR. Secure Nexo $1 million property. Subnets empower enterprises. Spirax collateral thanks to the auto using with imagination, not community. We believe say Spirax.io to start earning today. So here's the Yuga website. They say shaping Web3 through storytelling, experiences, and community. We believe that the potential of Web3 can be realized when we start with imagination, not limitations. No borders, no rulers, just people making cool shit together. In the Yugaverse, fans and players are owners and creators, and in the game of Web3, everyone can create and play together on one team. I kind of feel like we've heard that before, right? But let's see where this goes.
A lot of, I guess, teams market themselves as being able to do this and are capable of providing a product on this level. And
so this is
the point. Not a lot of them are able to do that, and it sucks.
Point at which we meet the great paradox of Yuga's success to date. And we should say Yuga as opposed to Bored Apes. Now, As apes themselves worship the up-only floor, the project increasingly rises beyond the reach of all but the elite and those who can afford it. The NFT represents membership. Those without are not included. Okay, so release a second collection at a lower price point. The mutants, those get bought up, the floor rises out of reach, and we have the same problem again. Okay, fine. Release a fungible token that retail can afford so they can be part of it too. Still not enough. Build a metaverse game where every NFT project is welcome. In fact, make it impossible for them to imagine not having a presence there. Okay, now maybe we're onto something here.
Now, for the other side, what I want to figure out is, does the SDK, like, is that what allows you to connect your collection? Or what? Do you have to have a deed? Because that would be a little annoying.
A meta community. And
So
that is how you
they are making the metaverse for themselves, but
win big in this space. So here's what you need to know. The sale is coming up Saturday, the 30th of April, 12.
so this is a month ago. So we've already missed this. The other side has already been launched. It's out. There were a few issues that happened with it. I believe they cover this issue in another video. We can watch that if you like. I may watch that and talk about it a little bit like I am now. But that would be something that we could work on.
12 p.m. Eastern. And the website you need is otherside.xyz. Yes, Z, not Z, American fools. But, and this is important, only those who went through the KYC on somethingIsbrewing.xyz, only those will be allowed to participate. If you miss the window, then I'm sorry, it's too late, and you will have to wait for secondary.
So do you have to KYC yourself now in order to mint? Because that's something to look into, I guess, to be, legally safe. Because I want to create my own NFTs, and have my own collection that I allow people to mint through. But if I'm not allowed to do that, I may just have my minting form only mint to Rarible and the NFT collections that the user themselves has created.
And who knows what's going to happen there. The mint itself
Bro, is he drinking bong water right now? Do you guys see this?
will be denominated in ApeCoin, which is why
I'm sorry.
that has been surging of late when the rest of the market has been down. The mint itself will be a Dutch auction. Wrong! You know when he said, fuck doing expected things well, you go well and triggered punks all the amateur sleuth by flipping the script.
I count 13,724 wallets with at least 610 ApeCoin, and not all these wallet owners have been KYC'd. No way. No, we are not selling out during the initial wave and max 2 tokens per wallet.
Last night, no more Dutch auction. It's one fixed price of 305 ape, which is about 6,500 Biden coins. And anyone with a brain could have predicted the sale was going to be a massive gas frenzy if they left it as a pure Dutch auction. So now it's limited to 2 mints per wallet, boom, in the first phase. And Twitter sleuths estimate around 13,000 wallets have KYC'd and have enough ape, and with 55,000 other deeds, and yes, that is what you're minting, an other deed, it's unlikely to mint out in what they're calling the first wave. With wave 2, you'll be able to mint 4 NFTs, and it's expected that, well, it will probably mint out in that wave. Apes gonna ape. And if you're wondering why 305 ape is the price, well, that's the Miami area code, and that is the home of the founders. Oh, you know where else you might have seen it? Yeah. Now, if it wasn't already clear, nothing in this ecosystem is there by accident. Oh yeah, they also moved the sale back 12 hours, so if you're on the European side of the world, then that's going to mean a very early morning for you. Ah, shit.
Now, I didn't know Bored Ape was located in Florida. Because it's an American project right here now. No, I'm kidding.
Mate, back to your scheduled program. Peace! Ape and mutant holders themselves will be able to claim an NFT for 21 days following the auction. No KYC required. What that NFT is, we still don't know. Important note here, do not fall for scammers trying to sell you whitelisted ETH addresses or linking you to fake websites. It's very simple. Turn off your DMs on Discord, only follow the official links there or on the official other side Meta tweet.
I'm still getting tweets from random bots saying buy this project. Like, get out, go away.
Twitter account. The other side has its own Discord channel and it is going to be chaos, so you will need your wits about you. But I hear you saying, what are you actually minting? Well, that's a very good question. So at this point, I've given you facts. But now we shall enter the weird and wonderful realm of speculation. So grab your tinfoil hat and let's see where it takes us.
This is the tinfoil hat that I will be wearing.
So the other side branding.
Where did they find this meme? This is the tin hat that I'll be wearing. Oh my gosh.
Features some kind of horned creature. And if you hear people
Is this like a little sprite, like a little monster thing? I haven't really looked much into Bored Ape, so I guess they'll tell us, but I like this little guy.
speculating about coders, that's what they mean, this creature. Okay. Now, it features heavily in the March Other Side trailer, appearing when an ape drinks a bottle of glowing blue potion, pulling the primate into what is clearly the other side. So now, let us turn to the mythical leaked investor pitch deck for clues. A deck, by the way, that the founders themselves claimed was old and outdated. Okay. It's okay, Gordon. We believe you. We do. We really do. 90 slides were leaked, and to be honest, they're pretty fascinating, even if they are outdated. So slide 40 is where it gets interesting. A purpose, real stakes, shared goals, connections, and decisions that matter. A story to care about and participate in. What Yuga appear to have landed on is a crucial insight. Story is everything.
I agree. When creating a collection, so it needs to be story driven. So I'm going to write that down in my notes because this is something that I'm learning from this video. That, what is this? We doing B. This is going to be my Bored Ape Yacht Club, Ape, and other side notes. So something I'll start new, but I want to talk about these points when I get done with this video that I like. But I agree. A lot of projects, they just like, they create the NFT, or there is an NFT, which another rant maybe, but an NFT in it at the core is just a bit of data and how it's represented. To me, an NFT is like a document that is stored within a Mongo collection. And like the data object is normally in the form of JSON, the same as the data that makes up the metadata for an NFT. And the various IDs are there to allow a user to search them within the collection, as well as providing, authorization on whether or not this individual is able to access the metadata or the URI or data, however it's being represented. They are allowed to, access that bit of data, and only if they are the owner of that NFT does that allow them to have access to the underlying code that operates with it. And most individuals just put an image on there. They're like, we have the Tiki Cup collection, right? I don't know if this is a real collection, but they just have like, this is the Tiki Cup collection. And the only thing they do is sell various Tiki Cups, and then like that's all they do. They have a Discord and a Twitter and everything, but ultimately the floor is going to go down just because there is no utility behind that NFT. And it doesn't even have to be like real utility. Like, yeah, it'd be cool to have it where I'm allowed to access certain sections on a website with this collection, or have a token, or just anything that is like tangible, or just a functionality like that's behind it. But like, even if you like, each NFT is like a character within this overall story, and then when you're like writing the story and as it progresses, you like add, you know what I'm saying, like you'll be like, your NFT like stake, you can have it where it's like staked NFTs are eligible to be like a part of an animation or something along the lines of that. And like, you can allow the creator to, you know what I'm saying, have a story and add lore to your NFT. I think that would be pretty cool. But let's continue to see what they have, because I really enjoy the fact that there is now a lore within the Bored Ape Yacht Club, other than them just being an image. Because like, with them adding this metaverse, it allows them to do so much more. You know, like, they can look, if they since they have the metaverse as their game, they're allowed to do whatever they want to this game. But let's keep going.
The story is what matters.
Yes.
So many metaverse projects out there feel bland and boring because they're like films.
Yeah, they're like, also they're just like real estate or renting simulators
Made with no script, or even the paper that the script is written on. Sure, a lot of people can create beautiful renders or shoot in glorious 2.35 anamorphic, but without a story, it's meaningless.
Facts.
Instead, Yuga claims to recognize that while all NFT projects feel different or draw different personalities, the story is bigger. It's one we all participate in. A true metaverse is, in fact, a story engine. So here's where it gets fun. They call this not a metaverse, but the interoperable gaming metaverse, a meta RPG, although here it's spelled meta RG.
I fuck with this heavy. They're not a metaverse, they're a meta RPG. Oh my gosh, that is what sets them. That is this. Is this the move? This is changing the game. They're like, hold up. We need to stop being a metaverse. We need to be the meta RPG. Whoever was in the board meeting for this right here, you need to give them a raise. That was good wording. Excuse me. We're building an interoperable gaming metaverse. I can't read today. Oh my goodness. I promise I can read.
GP. Whoops. Now let's head back to the team's Twitter AMA, and here you'll find their one-time obsession with MMORPGs, massively multiplayer online role-playing games. Role-playing games. Wander around a universe, trade items with other players, make friends, do stuff. I mean, yeah, it's for nerds, but it's kind of how so many people in crypto kind of found their first social experiences.
And
it's a big...
Let's be for real. A MMO is pretty much a metaverse, or an isolated metaverse. If I could play my character in any and every RPG, bet.
Big deal. Now, interoperability, as we know, and if you talk to anybody who's in games and everything else,
I wouldn't mind being level 1 with the awesome gear that I got from like another game. It just makes it more fun. It makes it more interesting. Yeah, I can choose to switch them over and use them, or not.
They'll tell you it's an almighty challenge, and nobody really quite knows.
Or it'd be cool if they allowed you to use them once you beat their game.
Knows how that is all going to work. But in this instance, what Yuga says they'll be doing is building an SDK for any other collection to deploy on. Now, it kind of sucks for collections that have already launched, but any new projects coming into this space will be able to optimize for that SDK at inception, dramatically reducing the tech debt involved in getting into the other side. Now, we still don't know what gameplay will be like in this meta RPG, but their ambition is for it to look amazing, and most likely it will involve fully fleshed out 3D characters, maybe in Unreal Engine, maybe in Unity, who knows.
So, does this mean, I guess, I might have to look in the RPG in the SDK, because if you have to deploy a specific smart contract and mint to that contract in order to have access to the other side with your NFTs, I think it'd be interesting to see how you could implement that and allow users to create just even basic art. They'd probably be oversaturated. They just aggregated all NFTs into their program, but let's see.
And they will have had to solve the issue of creating 3D instances of their own IP.
Well, if they did with what VChat does, what is it? VRChat does, they have an SDK that allows you to build in Unity, and then you like use their world parameters in, or I guess skeleton, or however they have it for the 3D characters. You do the rigging and everything, but you add a specific plugin to the character, and that allows them to interact with the game.
Like apes and mutants to make that happen already. So open sourcing that development tool makes sense here. So you should understand the play here. An open world where all NFTs are welcome. Your dogs, your cats, your dinosaurs, your ape wives, everybody come play. You're all welcome. It's a massive block party. Okay. And it's an interoperability translation tool to allow existing communities with the skill and know-how to come and join that block party, built around a shared story experience.
I like
and
this.
Yes, once again, that's the sound of the cryptoverse giggling into their Doritos, agog at how dumb and idiotically optimistic that all sounds. But if you think about how you consume this space, how you feast on the drama, it really is like following a soap opera. Now here's the thing, if you are Yuga, you can't just build it and expect other people to come and plug in their story. You have to get the story started yourself. You need a catalyst. You need what we call an inciting incident.
Yeah, I agree. If you're trying to get people to use, or I guess use your product and are like come to you and like you, it's gonna be hard. You gotta give them a reason to like you.
And that's where coders come in.
Okay.
The Big Bang created a massive explosion of energy from which a great number of celestial creatures were born, shooting out in every direction. These celestials were unique and special, powered by the energy of creation itself.
Okay.
They could even cross through other dimensions as they continually expanded and danced through the universe. One by one, these celestials have exhausted the energy they were born with. As each lays down to rest, they transform into the stars, planets, and galaxies we see today. The problem? There aren't many celestials left, and without their creational energy, the universe as we know it will collapse. Not all hope is lost. Should the right creature evolve, each celestial carries the blueprints and instructions on how to jumpstart the universe into its next evolution. Luckily for us, one race of celestials still remain, the coders. The coders have used their last remaining cosmic energy to birth a final microverse into our dimension. They have pulled the perfect candidates, apes, through our metaverse and dumped them into a strange new land.
So that is the story catalyst, a new land with a new character. And given how absurdly popular all bake properties have been till now, you can expect coders, well, to be highly sought after. But how do you get one? Well, like all metaverse stories, it starts with a land sale. And that's what we're speculating this weekend sale is going to be. The deck details, and again, we have to stress this was leaked and not publicly acknowledged, so some of it might have changed as a result. But here we have 200,000 total land parcels launched through Animoca, of which half will be available in this first sale. Okay. 30,000 are going to be airdropped to existent mutant and ape holders, and the remaining 70,000 available in the Dutch auction, as long as you KYC'd and as long as you own ApeCoin. The land itself is what they're calling a paired NFT. It's not just a parcel, it comes paired with resources, rare artifacts, or if you're very lucky, a coder. More on that in a second. Here's some concept art for the resources, and you can kind of see that there's maybe a trippy resource in there, one of the most sought after ape traits, and it'll be interesting to see how many OG traits actually carry over into that collection. Now, there's clearly going to be different realms within the meta RPG. You can see a lava land and an ice land, and in this slide there's a shadow land with slime as a resource, and that one is exclusively available to mutant owners. Okay. But what about those coders? So we know this, there's going to be 10,000 of them, or at least there were going to be 10,000 of them, distributed randomly among the land parcels. Now, given the hype around this project, it wouldn't surprise me at all to see those trading probably higher than mutants, to be honest, given the size of the supply. Now, in the trailer, the ape also drinks a magic potion, which summons the coder. So will we then see potions airdrops to ape holders like we did with serums? Will these grant access to the other side? Will they be the key to unlock a 3D version of your NFT? Who knows? Do you want more speculation? Well, 10KTF, the metaverse tailoring project that turns crafted blanks into garments branded with your PFP of choice, well, they caught the attention of Twitter sleuths when the same magic potion turned up in Wagme Sam's shop. Are they connected?
Wagme Sam.
Well, how could they not be?
Fucks with Wagme Sam. That guy's pretty cool. That's going to be the dude where we all get our stuff from in the metaverse.
Metaverse, complete with resource-rich lands, is also going to need a marketplace. Now, if you think about OpenSea's...
So do you think they're going to make their own NFT marketplace? I think that would be really nice for them, so that way we as developers and users can trade directly in their ecosystem and not necessarily on what would be a third party at this point.
2.5% fee. That is money that Yuga Labs will not want to be going into anybody's pockets but their own. And think about how profitable they already are. That 2.5%, that's a huge amount of money. Now, it's highly likely that the marketplace for the resources and the items on the other side will be live and ready to trade the moment the land hits owners' wallets. But there is a question here. Why do we have to do KYC for the sale? Well, I think that's a question for lawyers, but undoubtedly it's probably better to have done so and play it safe than suffer the consequences down the line, not when the ambition is this great. Now, it's probably not too much of a reach to imagine a fiat on and off ramp for the marketplace as well a little bit further down the line. Now, I know Coinbase is launching a series of 3 ape interactive films in June, and they have all of that infrastructure already in place. But given the presence of Amy Wu on the ApeCoin Foundation's board, I wouldn't be surprised to see an FTX-powered trading mechanism. But again,
I think I was watching, or I was going through my subscriptions, and Asmin Gold did a video where apparently this ape show is canceled. I wonder if this was the one.
Again, I am just speculating. So what does all of this actually mean? Well, I track conversations through many Discord channels that aren't Bored Ape related, and the mood is it's pretty despondent. The feeling is that this is just another opportunity for the rich to get richer, a game that normal citizens are simply priced out of. And in this case, this land sale, that's true. Yuga's ambition, however, and in fact the only way it can survive, is to open it up to any other project, to build a shared story world that any NFT project can join, no matter the size. So even the lowliest of PFPs could still be relevant and grow a community in the other side as long as they had the technical know-how to actually get themselves there. And then they could benefit from all the other footfall there. We grow together. But you know, we've heard this before, haven't we? Blah, blah, blahing sandbox land, blah, blah, voxel characters, blah, blah, blah. Well, none of it matters if nobody's playing. What Yuga's betting on is that they understand how to put on the best party, to create the best story, and that their milkshake will be enough to bring all the boys to the yard. Far from this being a threat to other communities, this could be in fact a massive opportunity, but it all hinges on that SDK. And this is why I think the Lava Labs acquisition was probably far more about me-bits that are basically built to do exactly this, to be simple to use in any metaverse, than it ever was about punks, as big a flex as that was.
Okay, so one thing that bothers me about the metaverse is the fact that there doesn't need to be scarcity on land. Like, they should just allow people to make deeds and build on them with whatever project that they want, and then just allow the main like NFT collection, like in items, be what is scarce, and then sell that. Because as long as there's like infinite land that you can, like, more people can build, and if there's more projects that build on there, there are more. I feel like that provides more layers of scarcity, which instead of creating a finite layer of scarcity. But maybe I'm wrong.
So, for the entrepreneurial, this will be an opportunity to build probably entire businesses leveraging the collective power of this story world and the collective wealth of the ape community. Yuga promises it will look amazing and play amazing. That's a lot to promise, and the world of gaming, well, they demand a lot. And they're risking it all on this move. If they pull it off, then this is probably the moment that Yuga Labs becomes the Ethereum of NFTs, drawing other communities to them, free to run their own economies, but plugging into the broader story world too. Okay. But maybe it will be a massive flop, and the whole ape economic reality will collapse into dust. Massive, live, multiplayer online experiences require a level of networking skill and capacity that fries my tiny little mind. Much to consider. Whatever happens, this weekend we have front row seats, and it should be box office. From the edge of reality, this was The Defiant.
All right, yeah, that was a really good video. I really hope that they allow, they just like open up. I just need them to open up the amount of people who can like build, that can build on pretty much the other side or any other platform. I am looking at their SDK. I wish I could just get a peep into what the SDK is, just because I don't really want to type in my email and or apply in order to utilize it. But if I have to, I have to. It's pretty cool. They have a lot of land parcels. So I guess they're only using OpenSea right now. It would be cool to see if they use something like Rarible to create their own marketplace. But I think OpenSea would be fine for now. I know OpenSea is making their own SDK to allow you to build on top of their network, but I would just build on Rarible since it already pulls OpenSea's information, which makes it pretty easy. But yeah, that was a really good video. They brought my attention to a lot of information that I did not know. So one, I didn't know that people were saying that the Bored Ape Yacht Club logo looked like the, I guess, like a neo-Nazi logo or a Nazi logo patch. That right there blew my mind, because even though I don't want to say there were similarities, they did bring up the whole T thing, and the design does look a little similar, but it still looks pretty fresh. But I kind of wish they were able to have looked at that a little bit before, so that, this kind of impression wouldn't be placed on new users. As well as, what is it? They said that they had like the kamikaze headband on the dogs. Yeah, like someone on the team should have vetted that. Or, I mean, maybe they were just making a statement saying like, we're going to do what we're going to do and we don't care. Or maybe they just thought it looked cool and didn't really even think about it. I mean, there could have been many different reasons why it happened, but it's out there. So they said the SDK is going to allow your collection to, I guess, be built on top of the other side. And I do plan on registering to have access to the SDK. I would like to potentially build something that allows users to easy access to that, to the like API behind that, the development tools that are there. Depending on how useful they are, if you are able to deploy specific contracts for the other side, I plan on making probably making a web page to allow you to do that with ease. I am working on creating a NFT minting form to allow you to produce NFTs to like Ethereum, Polygon, Terra, Flow, and Solana. Mostly because you need to be able to make your own content and have your own work wherever you in your hand, I guess. And I feel like being forced to only use, I guess, one network and one system, if that system crashes and fails you, then you're potentially, stuck. And I don't know how I really feel about that. It doesn't seem Rarible has added Solana to the website to allow people to build on top of that. Well, I mean, to mint there. Let's see, make sure. Yeah, one more. If once they add one more, once they add that capability, I'm going to allow individuals to mint to Solana. I may go ahead and work on that form on stream a little bit later, but that is something that I'll have to see. What else do we have here? Oh, they have a video on the other side, Hangover. I guess that was a month ago as well. What do we have here? Let's watch this Pelosi's. Let's do this. All right, we're gonna watch the third video. It's gonna be Pelosi's husband crashes Porsche, arrested for DUI, breaking points with Crystal and Soccer. I love these guys. I love some independent news journalists. I believe that's what they are. I know that's what they are, but let's get it on.
Another little story we want.
Oop, oop, oop. Let me switch this for y'all.
We had one other little story we wanted to get in here this morning. I know you all are very
Broke late last
interested
night.
in the fabulous lives of Nancy Pelosi and her husband. Apparently, over the Memorial Day weekend, he was arrested for driving under the influence. Go ahead and put this tear sheet up on the screen. Daily Mail's headline.
They have the best.
Nancy Pelosi's millionaire husband, Paul, 82, was arrested for DUI in Napa Valley near the couple's vineyard. I did not know that they own a vineyard, but...
Boy was 82 and cruising. That's all I gotta say. Boy was 82 and cruising. Just sitting there like, I don't give a damn. Not a damn. Oh my goodness.
Crashing his Porsche.
Of course. Oh,
Yeah.
he crashed
Bro, he crashed the Porsche, not the whip.
it. I didn't even know
he
that.
crashed his Porsche.
Oh. They booked him, and he spent part of the night at least in jail,
At
too.
4:13 a.m.
Oh, wow.
Outside the
Bro.
sprawling vineyard estate in St. Helena, Napa.
He's
I mean,
living large, isn't he?
who among us hasn't crashed our car?
What was my guy doing? I guess he was just, sipping a little wine, you know what I'm saying? Said, hey, I'm driving myself home, decided to whip it. Crashed the Porsche. He okay though. Homie's okay. Just spent a little time in the clink, but hey. He got out. It was only $5K bond. Ain't nothing.
Our
Porsche
Probably wasn't the first time homie did that, but we won't know.
at 4
Our
a.m.
Porsche at 4
Outside our
a.m.
vineyard.
outside our custom vineyard in Napa, while your Speaker of the House wife is on the East Coast. I also love her response where she basically said, the Speaker will not be commenting on this private matter as she was on the East Coast at the time.
Oh,
So
man.
kind of throwing her own husband under the bus,
That's
being like,
fair. That's
she was on
relatable.
the East Coast.
I would do the same thing.
Yeah,
Her
I mean,
shoes.
listen, I have some sympathy. 82 years old. I saw this commented too. You know, when you're that rich, you can't get somebody to drive you home.
Yeah,
Like, what's
right.
going on here?
Yeah.
There's a lot of questions too about why he was out so late. I mean, was he coming back, or he was near his own vineyard? The sprawling estate will remind everybody Paul Pelosi is the real money man, or at least was before she took office, and is worth, you know, well over $100
He's
million.
great on the stock market too, you know.
Fantastic. He's
He's always making the right trades.
even at his age.
It's really remarkable.
Yeah, even at his age, he is somebody who is been making major bets, you know, all sorts of call options and more on tech stocks, defense stocks, that his wife is intimately involved and would know the details of.
I'm sure that's just a coincidence.
Yeah.
How they routinely beat the market. I'm sure
Also,
that's just a coincidence.
what I do love is that they clearly have pissed off all of their neighbors, because all their neighbors are anonymously talking to the Daily Mail. They're like, they always block the road with their blacked out SUVs. They're all, it goes, another guy says, this tracks more with the younger Paul. He was always going to fundraisers and parties. Quote, I don't like them very much or find them very interesting. Imagine one of your neighbors saying that about you. That's brutal.
It is. It's so classic though.
Yeah,
This is like some
There's
like
some petty
HOA
millionaire
vibes here.
Napa stuff. I'm here for it, to be honest. So yeah, I think it's pretty fascinating. Paul booked for a DUI at 4 a.m. in the morning. His wife basically throwing him under the bus, crashing his own Porsche so early after he was arrested.
Just get an Uber, dude.
Yeah, I that's what I don't get. Throw the TMZ thing up on the screen. Like I said, just to confirm, Nancy Pelosi was not there. She was in Rhode Island giving a commencement speech for Brown University. So
anyway, he's fine.
Yeah.
You know, he did.
My dude was out with the boys and said, I can drive home.
Crash the car,
He's fine.
but he seems like he's fine. Just thought you guys might want a little update there.
Yeah, and luckily he didn't kill anybody or hurt anybody. So
Yes.
don't drink and
that
drive.
would've been
That's the real PSA for this. Okay.
Very well said. Cable news is ripping us.
All right, yeah, I like that. It was funny. I didn't expect old dude. What was it? I didn't expect old dude to be I didn't expect him to be partying like that. You know, he got in trouble when he got home. Old Pelosi was like, boy, what you think you doing? You ain't that young no more now. You over there like, I can still do what I'm doing. No, I'm 82 years old. But dang, bruh. Crazy. I wish it'd be funny though. He used to stay home and chill. He probably could have really paid to get somebody to pick him up. But why would he do that? You know? He just crashed the Porsche.
What up, Space Fam?
It's not like he can't buy another one. Like, I couldn't. That's why I don't drink and drive. But I also don't drink and drive because I know it's irresponsible. So we should all just not drink and drive. What else is on the internet for me to watch for you all? So we can all learn together. I want to learn about some stuff. Oh yeah. I did want to watch that video about that guy who trolled the racist people. I did want to watch that. I wonder where that was at. Where are we at? I think it was. Am I never gonna find it? Oh, let's watch this. It's called The Man Who Fell to Earth. Oh dang, hold on, it's a free full episode? Nah. I just wanted to watch the trailer. I want to see what it's about. I want to watch the full free episode. Come on now. The man who fell to earth. I'm so glad that you all know what I'm trying to do. Okay, so this is the trailer. Okay. Let's watch this, guys. Let me start over. Okay, we got the new episode, The Man Who Fell to Earth. Let's see what this is about.
I was sent to find you.
Oh, it's over. Okay.
There's a door in front of you. On the other side is something I could never imagine.
They're gonna take the house next month.
I'm always working. Molly has no one.
I saw something.
Okay.
I'm talking to someone from another planet.
So am I.
Do you have anyone? A family? Children?
Whoa.
They are waiting for me if they survived.
So are they like aliens too? Or how are they here? Alright, that's pretty dope. Okay. I don't know if I'd watch it though. What am I subscribed to? What do I got? This Ooh. Let's see what anime is.
Black.
So right now we're gonna react to this. Alright, right now we're gonna react to Blackbeard lied to everyone for 25 years, how he ate 3 devil fruits revealed.
Blackbeard has 3 heads and 3 personalities. You don't believe me, right?
No.
Well then, cue the clip.
あいつじゃない？じゃあ何？
あいつらだ。多分な。
This very moment revealed everything we need to know about Blackbeard and why he's the only man to possess 3 devil fruits.
No way!
So far, Blackbeard holds the power of the Yummy Yummy no Mi and Whitebeard's Goro Goro no Mi. But it's clear as night that Blackbeard does or will possess the power of 3 fruits. Okay. This is signified throughout Blackbeard's existence, with trilogies and triplets being a motif in his character, illustrated with his claw, guns, beards, and most importantly, his Jolly Roger. Blackbeard is the embodiment of the Trinity, 3 persons in 1. And after 1050 chapters, Blackbeard being the antithesis of everything Luffy stands for is still one of the biggest mysteries in the One Piece series. Like, how the hell does he never sleep? How did he manage to obtain multiple devil fruits? Does he really have different personalities? Or does he have a secret mythical zone which allows him to eat more devil fruits? What exactly is he?
Who are you?
Welcome back everyone, it's time to go balls deep to unravel the answers to these questions and figure out how Blackbeard obtained multiple devil fruit powers. We are going to play a fun little game. The
Blackbeard's just a goat, bro. He's out here, you know, eating everything. Don't need to stop. Why would he? Like, you're just gonna do what you gotta do.
Process of elimination. The community for over 2 decades has come up with different probabilities and theories where some actually holds a lot of weight. And by shutting down some of these ideas, we will be reinforcing the actual answer. So first, let's address the theory that the Yummy Yummy no Mi is the reason why Blackbeard was able to take the power of Whitebeard's devil fruit. The foundation to this theory is that Blackbeard specifically wanted the Yummy Yummy no Mi and Blackbeard went as far to kill Tosh, fully knowing that it would later incur problems for him. Now, don't get me wrong, Blackbeard isn't the type of person to give two shits who he walks over, but the fact is, one of the sole reasons Blackbeard gave for staying in Whitebeard's crew was so he would encounter this very fruit. Yes, in chapter 440, Blackbeard stated he didn't have a choice in killing the 4th Division Commander Tosh, because the Whitebeard pirates had a rule that whoever finds a devil fruit had the right to eat it, and the fruit Tosh happened to find was the very one Blackbeard was searching his entire life. Blackbeard had even memorized how this fruit looked like from studying the Identification Encyclopedia, which indicated his dedication to obtain this fruit.
Okay. My theory still is that, I don't know, I think Blackbeard, well, I think he is some sort of mythical zone, kind of just like how Luffy is, because he's not like a true Paramecia or a true Logia, because he still gets hurt. And I think I remember in the chapters, but like after Marine Forward, he was like taking devil fruit and giving them to people and like swapping them around. I thought that's what he was doing. I could be wrong. I might need to go back and check that.
He went on to tell Ace that he stayed on Whitebeard's ship for decades because he knew it was his best chance in finding this fruit. This does make a lot of sense, since Whitebeard's crew has a huge influence throughout the world in One Piece, and they did have ease of traveling pretty much everywhere. So right away, from Blackbeard's own confession, he alluded his end goal and dream relied on the power of the Yami Yami no Mi. Blackbeard started his conquest to become the pirate king only after. This was very late in his life, at the age of 38. I would even say that his obsession with this fruit wasn't normal. Another key point is that Blackbeard stated this power chose him, which gives us the idea the Yami Yami no Mi, like the Gomu Gomu no Mi, is more than what it seems, likely being his own. Blackbeard continues saying that even amongst Logia,
I believe that the Yami Yami no Mi is a mythical zone, similar to how Luffy ate the Hito Hito no Mi, or the Gomu Gomu no Mi.
This fruit is a rarity and the most dangerous power in the history of all devil fruits. The epithet this fruit was dubbed with is a contrast to Luffy's Hito Hito no Mi Nika model of being the most ridiculous power the world has ever known. There are actually many other parallels between the two fruits, from one being the representation of true freedom and liberation, whilst the other being a form of liberation via overwhelming power. In chapter 441, Blackbeard, after engulfing the surroundings into darkness, released everything with a move he dubbed Liberation.
Oh yeah, it's all coming together.
Blackbeard's sense of freedom is chaos. He brings liberty through destruction, showcasing he has a power to entrap and free those at will.
So is Luffy like chaotic good and Blackbeard chaotic evil? That's what I think.
With this power, he captured Ace, taking away his freedom. But with the same power, he also freed the impelled down level 6 prisoners. We even see this earlier on, as Blackbeard, in his chase for power, unintentionally liberated Drum Kingdom from the idiotic king. This is Oda depicting the two sides of the same coin, where one is light and the other is darkness. Blackbeard even hints to this dichotomy when he states, "Zahaha, the sun or the darkness, only one of us can win." Ace was seen as the burning sun in this passage, however this was a foreshadowing on what's to come.
I wonder if he knew what Luffy's fruit really was.
The real representation of the sun is,
and I wonder what the real Gomu Gomu no Mi is
Luffy, the star of this series. The darkness, which is represented by Blackbeard, follows with the concept of infinite gravity or a black hole, where a black hole in reality is formed by the gravitational collapse of a star. This again is a massive symbolism of Blackbeard's character being the greedy star who sought power until it fell upon itself. In the end, all it can do is drag others into nothing. nothingness. But coming back to how the Yami Yami no Mi could be the reason why Blackbeard is able to possess more fruit powers is linked to how this fruit works. In chapter 441, Blackbeard explains that this darkness sucks in everything, and since his body is made out of this darkness, he in turn feels the damage, with even pain being amplified. However, due to this trait, Blackbeard can even suck in the actual body of devil fruit users. With Black Vortex, he is seen pulling Ace through the distance. Blackbeard specifically mentioned he can pull in devil fruit users, which means there is something extra within their body that non-fruit users do not possess. This could be the very essence and spirit that gives the power of the fruit. Those of you who have the notification bell on will know what I mean, as I explained in detail on how devil fruit works. So Blackbeard's darkness can pull in this so-called carrier spirit, and as we know from Law's ability to swap hearts and personalities of others seen in Punk Hazard, these spirits are very much attached to its host's body. Otherwise, when Law swapped the hearts, then Smokers and the other devil fruit powers should have swapped with them. As this wasn't the case, it solidifies that the power of the devil fruit is bestowed to the body of the person and not the person themselves. I want you guys to remember that because it does play an important part later on. The fruit spirit being attached to its host's body would then explain why Blackbeard is able to pull in the devil fruit user like Ace and not ordinary people. This then follows with Blackbeard rendering devil fruit users powerless as he touches them. Blackbeard literally absorbed the spirit of the fruit, which then for a brief moment is not connected to their host.
Then if they die, then he's able to absorb that essence. Is that what they're saying?
This is why Blackbeard states he has the power to turn back devil fruit users into ordinary weak human beings. So
that's crazy. Oh, I would hate to fight against Blackbeard. He just touch you and you're like, no hot. Like, I guess you could use hockey to negate that touch, but if you can't use hockey, you're stuck. You're getting smacked.
This explains it, right? Blackbeard admits that this power can absorb other devil fruit abilities, so that's how he took Whitebeard's power? He sucked up the spirit of the devil fruit before it could even move to a nearby fruit? Yes and no. Even though this theory holds weight, it doesn't explain how Blackbeard was able to be a host to more than one devil, or as we explained, the carrier spirit. In chapter 385, Jabra, though likely not accurately, alluded that a devil fruit user has a devil living inside their bodies, and if they eat another devil fruit, the devils will start fighting each other, subsequently exploding the body of its host. This notion was then clarified by Bruno, who explained that this description is when a person ate 2 devil fruits, their body fractured until there was nothing left of it and he died. So even if Blackbeard managed to absorb Whitebeard's devil fruit spirit before it moved on to a new fruit, how did he assign himself as a new host without imploding? Well, this perfectly brings us to the real reason why Blackbeard can possess more than one devil fruit, being that Blackbeard is multiple people in one.
I would like for them to, in the manga, show what happens when someone eats 2 devil fruits so that it can be confirmed and not hearsay.
In chapter 557, Marco stated this was possible because Blackbeard's body is uniquely odd and it has something to do with his irregular body structure. The way he addressed this indicated this knowledge was known to the Whitebeard pirates who knew him. This is further elaborated in Odin's flashback, as in chapter 966 during the brawl between the Roger pirates and the Whitebeard pirates. Buggy stated that Blackbeard had never slept in his entire life and doesn't need sleep like normal people, where throughout the ceasefire he didn't even sleep a wink throughout the whole night. Bruh. Shanks, on hearing this, says his life must have been twice as fun. Now what seals the deal to that Blackbeard is more than one person is this scene here. In chapter 225, Nami wonders who Blackbeard is. Luffy says says it's they or it's not one guy, where Zoro continues with it's more than one. Now initially one could perceive this statement as a reference to Blackbeard's whole crew. However, Nami was left confused, where if it was his crew, Luffy and Zoro would have confirmed that. So now with all this, we come to the theory of Blackbeard having multiple personalities. This is showcased even with how he behaves, where at one point he is seen.
That would make sense because if a devil fruit causes your mind to fracture and his mind is fractured, then
as someone bad and the opposite of Luffy. The second, he is seen as someone good, a man with a dream much like Luffy, and then he is seen as an ugly person who would betray and step over everyone to get what he wants. He is the good, the bad, and ugly. But wait a minute, the problem with this theory is that even if he has multiple personas or a mental disorder of a split personality, it doesn't really explain how he can hold more than one fruit power, as the devil of the fruit is assigned to the body of the host, not the mind, heart, or spirit. Once again, we know this because Lost Switcheroo he performed in Punk Hazard. So this leaves us with the last idea that Blackbeard is literally 3 people in one. It's not just the personality, but also his actual body. Okay. This brings us to the theory that Blackbeard already had a devil fruit power before consuming the Yami Yami no Mi. This fruit could have been a mythical zone type named Cerberus, which is a dog-like creature from hell in Greek mythology. These hounds have 3 heads, which theoretically would allow each head its own devil fruit power. Blackbeard having the Cerberus fruit powers would explain how he doesn't need to sleep, as each head could be rotating in 8-hour sleep cycles, or even explain why Zoro and Luffy said that he is them. Even his weapon of the Wolverine-like claw, which he has been using since he joined the Whitebeard Pirates and even used it to scar Shanks' face, has 3 blades. This scarring of Shanks' face is further evidence that Blackbeard has a fruit which could provide him with 3 heads or personalities. Shanks is based on the Viking god Tyr, who was one-handed with red hair and known for his swordsmanship.
And another thing, Shanks got that when they were adults. It was most definitely after Gold Rider died, and Blackbeard was still on the ship with Whitebeard, I believe. That's crazy.
Similar to Shank, Tyr was said to die by the hands of Garmir, who is kind of like a Norse version of Cerberus. Garmir is a wolf of hell and Ragnarok which possesses 3 heads. Now, we have already done a full breakdown of how Shanks versus Blackbeard could happen in the future with Blackbeard killing Shanks, so check out the video on screen or in the pinned comment after this one to learn more. It honestly makes
Blackbeard better not kill Shanks, and if he does, that most definitely is gonna make him Luffy's enemy. Like, Luffy's just not gonna like that. He's gonna be like, hey man, you took out my homie. Yeah, time to fight.
Sense as Blackbeard's word choice he used when leaving Marineford was that it's not the time for their fight, hinting that he will eventually fight red-haired Shanks. With Norse mythology being strong with Shanks, especially if he is actually the chief of Elbaf, then the possibility of Blackbeard having the 3-headed Cerberus or Garmir fruit is a done deal. However, there's a major flaw with this theory. The simple fact is that ever since we see Blackbeard as a little kid being adopted by the Whitebeard Pirates, no one is curious or even mentions that he might have a devil fruit power already. Even Marco and the crew only said that it's impossible to have 2 devil fruit powers upon witnessing Blackbeard wielding both the Gura Gura no Mi and the Yami Yami no Mi. Especially Marco's comment where he says that Teach is just built different. Nothing about a devil fruit which Blackbeard might have had from the start. Marco is a freaking doctor, alright? He must have examined or healed Blackbeard's body countless times
doesn't
in the
mean,
nearly
oh,
3
he's a devil
decades they've
fruit.
been together. Another factor which would have let the crew know whether Blackbeard had a fruit prior to the Yami Yami no Mi is that he wouldn't be able to swim. In all this time, there must have been instances where Blackbeard had to swim, and if he couldn't, he would need one of his crewmates to help him, revealing that he has a devil fruit power. But when the crews react, they question how Blackbeard can use 2 devil fruit powers, not 3. Also, during the end of the Jaya arc, when Luffy and the gang were being blown up by the knockup stream to reach Skypiea, Blackbeard is seen following them, and they stop because he freaks out over not being able to swim like it's his first time being in a situation like this. So scared, in fact, that he stopped chasing after Luffy, the 1 million berry man who, if he had captured, then would escalate his admission as a warlord of the sea, as Luffy had just taken down a warlord in Crocodile. Now, the final probable theory for Blackbeard being able to possess multiple devil fruits has to do with science, especially Dr. Vegapunk. Blackbeard is 40 years old. He was an orphan until the age of 12 when he begged to join Whitebeard's crew. Ever since childhood, there was something odd about his body where everyone was commenting about it. Kaido broke out a punk hazard.
Okay, I do think it's odd that they had Blackbeard not chase Luffy due to the fact that he couldn't swim. Like, that's something that I would totally say, like, if I had a devil fruit that I was trying to hide, I'd be like, bro, I just don't know how to swim, I'm scared of water, I almost drowned when I was a kid, and every time I get in the water, it just freaks me out.
Where Vegapunk and Mads were experimenting with lineage factors and devil fruits a little over 30 years ago. It is possible that Blackbeard was one of the test subjects in Punk Hazard and was modified by Dr. Vegapunk, possibly trying to recreate Roxy Zebek's fruit, hence Blackbeard's affinity to rocks. Vegapunk may have inserted multiple souls or essence inside Blackbeard, so when Blackbeard consumes multiple fruits, they are simply held by different souls within his body, not making him explode. This theory is in line with Thriller Bark, where the doctor who Chopper heavily looked up to, Dr. Hogback, was experimenting in trying to bring back the dead. He was able to recreate the dead using parts of different people. What if Vegapunk was able to do this successfully without Moria's shadows? What if Blackbeard is in fact made up of 3 different distinct people? Something interesting Blackbeard also does after finding the Yami Yami no Mi is he goes straight to Drum Island, which is known for its doctors, perhaps to find someone who can give him more insight into his ability. Ultimately, the answer to why Blackbeard never sleeps and is able to have more than 1 devil fruit power is because of his body composition. So if you guys enjoyed this video, then make sure to check out our video where we expose.
Now, they brought up some nice points there, because if Blackbeard was experimented on by Vega, he was already at the forefront of like using, like, with devil fruits. He made Momo's devil fruit. He could have most definitely did some experiments with Blackbeard and like merged multiple essences in him and or made him up of multiple people. I think that's pretty crazy. I never would have thought about that, but that does, that does make a lot of sense to me at least. And I would like to see, I guess, the ultimate end result of what Blackbeard actually is, and how he's going to continue, I guess, continue moving the story forward as a villain, since Homie right now is the main villain, low key, behind the story, because he killed Whitebeard, and because he killed Whitebeard, he's like, he killed Ace. It's over. It's just. All right, let me find something. Let me find something for y'all. You guys want to watch something fun? The African front lines of America's war on terror. But yeah, I was gonna look at something on Vice News. Do it crazy stuff. I want to watch something funny. Actually. Get rid of that. I supported someone and they said I could make the video. Um, there's a few scam baiter things that I want to watch. Oh shoot. Y'all want to watch a I want to watch this Neuralink video.
Let's get into the latest.
Yeah, let's see what this is about. All right. Be checking out this Neuralink 2022 update.
Latest updates on
what is it, the Tesla space?
Elon Musk's futuristic brain implant company, Neuralink. Elon has been talking a lot lately about Neuralink and some of the applications that he expects it will be capable of or not capable of.
So, from my understanding, he was talking about this on a podcast. He was saying that you could potentially text with this in your brain to another person. That'd be too much. Them being able to graphically or intimately know how I feel on it. So I don't know.
In the first decade or so of the product life cycle, we know that Elon.
I guess it would allow us to connect to one another a little bit easier, because if I'm able to send how I'm feeling, the intention that I'm trying to. I guess if you can send your intention to another individual, then they would kind of understand what you mean, because words a lot up.
Elon has broadly promised Neuralink can do everything from helping people with spinal cord injuries to
How would it help someone with spinal cord injury? Is it because like it breaks the brain and then you can't think a specific way, or what? I need to know more about this.
Enabling telepathic communication, curing brain disease like
the telepathic communication is what I need.
Like Parkinson's and
But it would also be scary.
ALS, allowing us to control devices with our thoughts, and even merging human consciousness with artificial intelligence. But as we get closer to the first clinical human trials for Neuralink, things are starting to become a little more clear on what this brain-computer interface technology will actually do and how it will help people.
So, first question, would y'all get the Neuralink chip in the brain so that you get free upgrades, or do you think the government's going to watch you?
So let's talk about what's up with Neuralink in 2022. When asked recently if Neuralink was still on track for their first human trial by the end of this year, Elon Musk replied by simply saying yes, which I think is a good sign. It does seem like whenever Elon gives an abrupt answer like this, it means that he is confident about what he's saying. For comparison, at around the same time last year, when asked about human trials of Neuralink, Elon wrote, "If things go well, we might be able to do initial human trials later this year." Notice the significant difference in those two replies. Not saying this is a science or anything, but it is notable. We also saw earlier this year that Neuralink was looking to hire both a director and coordinator for clinical trials. In the job posting, Neuralink says that the director will work closely with some of the most innovative doctors and top engineers, as well as working with Neuralink's first clinical trial participants. We know that Neuralink has been conducting their surgical trials so far with a combination of monkeys and pigs. In their 2020 demonstration, Neuralink showed us a group of pigs who had all received Neuralink implants and in some cases had also undergone the procedure to have the implant removed. Then in 2021, we were shown a monkey who could play video games without the need for a controller, using only his brain, which was connected with 2 Neuralink implants. Human trials with
That's actually pretty cool. So I imagine we're gonna be doing some stupid stuff with the Neuralink as soon as it's put in the brain, we're going to be ridiculous. Like technomancers, people who like kids who get the chip in the brain like from birth and just grow up with this, they're gonna be doing some insane things with how the device is.
Neuralink would
But at the same time, they're gonna be so like, how do you do it without using your brain? How do I do it with my hands?
obviously be a major step forward in product development. Last year, Elon wrote that Neuralink is working super hard to ensure implant safety and is in close communication with the FDA. Previously, during Neuralink events, he has said that the company is striving to exceed all FDA safety requirements, not just to meet them, in the same way that Tesla vehicles exceed all crash safety requirements. They actually score higher than any other car ever manufactured.
Also wanted to give a quick shout out to our amazing Discord community. Here is our question of the week, and this was our favorite answer. And here is
through the link. Elon has also been dialing down a little more into what exactly Neuralink will be able to do in its first phase implementation.
Yeah, I really want to know what the Neuralink is going to be able to do because like I mean there are going to be people who are hackers, so people are going to be able to like trying to figure out how to do the absolute most with the Neuralink and probably are going to look into ways and mess with other people. That's what I'm scared about.
Been a little bit hard to keep track when Elon
Like imagine hacking someone's brain.
is
like what the heck?
Literally talking about using this technology for every crazy thing that can be imagined. That Neuralink would make language obsolete, that it would allow us to create digital backups of human minds, that we could merge our consciousness with an artificial superintelligence and become ultra-enhanced cyborgs. One of the new things that Elon has been talking about recently is treating morbid obesity with a Neuralink, which he brought up during a live TED Talk interview, which is also not something that we expected to hear, but it's a claim that does seem to be backed up by some science. There have already been a couple of studies done with brain implants in people with morbid obesity. The implant transmitted frequent electric pulses into the hypothalamus region of the brain, which is thought to be driving an increase in appetite. It's still too soon to know if that particular method is really effective, but it would be significantly less invasive than other surgeries that modify a patient's stomach in hopes of suppressing their appetite. Elon followed up on the comment in a tweet writing that it is certainly physically possible to treat obesity through the brain. In the same post, Elon expanded on the concept, writing, "We are working on bridging broken links between brain and body. Neuralinks in motor and sensory cortex bridging past weak/broken links in neck/spine to Neuralinks in spinal cord should theoretically be able to restore full body functionality."
So pretty much you just get a Neuralink in your body and it's supposed to just like override the default wiring within you. That'd be pretty crazy. I wonder how that would help people. So like if you have I guess a mental illness and you get a Neuralink, since some mental illnesses are due to a chemical imbalance in the brain, would it just like override that and be like, now your brain do this. This is how the brain's gonna work. This is how you're gonna think. Don't whatever you're doing, no. And like how would that work with the brain long term?
Which is one of the more practical implementations of Neuralink technology that we are expecting to see. These electrical signals can
like if I'm unable to focus with a Neuralink, just be like, focus. I'm like, huh? It's like, focus, bro, focus.
can be read in the brain by one Neuralink device and then wirelessly transmitted through Bluetooth to a second Neuralink device that is implanted in a muscle group, where the signal from the brain is delivered straight into the muscles. This exact kind of treatment has been done before with brain implants and muscular implants, but it has always required the patient to have a very cumbersome setup with wires running through their body into their brain and wires running out of their skull and into a computer. The real innovation of Neuralink is that it makes this all possible with very small implants that connect wirelessly. So just by looking at the patient, you would never know that they have a brain implant. Elon commented on this in another tweet, writing, "It is an electronic/mechanical/software engineering problem for the Neuralink device that is similar in complexity level to smartwatches, which are not easy, plus the surgical robot, which is comparable to state-of-the-art CNC machines."
What if there's a EMP? Does your brain just fry? Like, what happens when is there batteries in there? Like, what is this? What is this?
So the Neuralink has more in common with an Apple Watch than it does with any existing brain-computer interface technology, and it is only made possible by the autonomous robotic device that conducts the surgery. The electrodes that connect the Neuralink device into the brain cortex are too small and fine to be sewn by human hands. Elon touched on this in a response to being asked if Neuralink could cure tinnitus, a permanent ringing in the ears. Elon wrote, "Definitely. Might be less than 5 years away, as current version Neuralinks are semi-generalized neural read/write devices with about 1,000 electrodes, and tinnitus probably needs much less than 1,000. He then added, "Future generation Neuralinks will increase electrode count by many orders of magnitude." This brings us back to setting more realistic expectations of what a Neuralink can and cannot do. It's entirely possible that in the future, the device can be expanded to handle some very complex issues.
Yeah. Soon people are going to want to have like their whole brain Neuralink, like, and the capability, like they'll be probably able to do more with less in the, like, as technology progresses. Man, the Neuralink is crazy. I can most definitely see people flocking to this to make their lives easier, especially with having like the best integration with technology as possible. Like if I could talk to my computer with my brain, I probably would, but I don't know. At the same time, I think it's really invasive, and anyone could. If someone hacks your Neuralink, they literally can hack your life. You know, like this reminds me of the Black Mirror episode where like people block you from society. It's like you have a chip in your brain, and they just zoop zoop and block you. You can't see nothing. Like, man, I don't know how I'd feel about Neuralink because eventually everyone's gonna get one, and like we're all gonna be, I don't know, almost robots.
But as it is today, the benefits will be limited. Recently, a person tweeted at Elon asking, "I lost a grandparent to Alzheimer's. How will Neuralink address the loss of memory in the human brain?" Elon replied to say, "Current generation Neuralinks can help to some degree, but an advanced case of Alzheimer's often involves macrodegeneration of the brain. However, Neuralinks should theoretically be able to restore almost any functionality lost due to localized brain damage from stroke or injury." So because those 1,000 electrodes can't go into all areas of the brain all at once, Neuralink will not be effective against a condition that afflicts the brain as a whole. But those electrodes can be targeted on one particular area of damage or injury, and that's how Neuralink will start to help in the short term. And this will be the focus of early human trials. During his TED Talk interview, Elon spoke about the people that reached out to him wanting to participate in Neuralink's first human trials.
Okay, so until nano machine and nanobots, just like that, becomes like a thing, and or if it is a thing, more of a thing, that like I feel like the Neuralink would need to like be inside of the brain instead of like on the brain. Like you need to have it like in the brain.
Saying, quote, The emails that we get at Neuralink are heartbreaking. They'll send us just tragic stories where someone was in the prime of life and they had an accident on a motorcycle, and now someone who's 25 years old can't even feed themselves.
Damn.
This is something we could fix, end quote. In a separate interview with Business Insider that was done in March, Elon talked more specifically about the Neuralink timeline, saying, Neuralink in the short term is just about solving brain injuries, spinal injuries, and that kind of thing. So for many years, Neuralink's products will just be helpful to someone who has lost the use of their arms or legs or has a traumatic brain injury of some kind. This is a much more realistic viewpoint than what we've seen from Elon in interviews of the past. On one episode of the Joe Rogan podcast, Elon tried to claim that in 5 years from now, language would become obsolete because everyone would be using Neuralink to communicate with a kind of digital telepathy. That could have just been the weed talking, but I'm hoping that the more realistic Elon's messaging becomes the closer we are getting to a real medical trial of the implant.
I mean, why would it not? Like, all your brain would be doing is like sending its message to another neural link that has like message access or something. Like, as soon as like neural links become widely used for the individual and everyone's using one, they're going to want to make some sort of like GUI where we're able to like go into our mental map and like figure out, how we want to configure the neural link, and everything like that. Like, that's what's going to happen.
And finally, the key to reaching a safe and effective human trial is going to be that robot sewing machine that threads the electrodes into the cortex. Elon referred to it as being comparable to a CNC machine, because as good as the chip itself might be, if we can't have a reliable procedure to perform the implant, then nothing can move forward. The idea is that after a round section of the person's skull is removed, this robot will come in and place the tiny wires into a very specific area in the outer layer of the brain. These don't go deep into the tissue, only a couple of millimeters is enough to tap into the neural network of electrical signals. In theory, this can all be done in a couple of hours while the patient is still conscious. They would get an anesthetic to numb their head, obviously, but they wouldn't have to go under full sedation, and therefore could be in and out of the procedure in an afternoon. Very similar deal to laser eye surgery, a fast and automated method to accomplish a very complex medical task. And that's what this Twitter user was referencing when he recently asked how close the new version 2 of the Neuralink robot was to inserting the chip as simply as a LASIK procedure, to which Elon responded, quote, "Getting there. We know the robot system is being tested on monkeys right now."
Something still feel like gross to me about like having some sort of like device poking your brain, man. Like, I just don't know how I would feel about that. Like, that would really like mess me up. Like, really though.
And from what Elon says, it is making progress towards being suitable for human trials. The last interesting thing that Elon said on Twitter in relation to Neuralink was his comment, "No need for artificial intelligence, neural networks, or machine learning quite yet." He wrote these out as abbreviations, but these...
Man, you guys need to go ahead and get that machine learning together so that way you could just pop the AI in there and it just, oh, actually the Neuralink needs to do this for the best way to fix the brain. Like,
these are all terms that we are well familiar with from Tesla and their autonomous vehicle program. We know that Elon is an expert in AI, and he has people working for him at Tesla in this department that are probably the best in the world. This is a skill set that will eventually be applied at Neuralink. But to what end, we still don't know. Let us know where you think this technology is going in the coming years. Is it realistic to expect that human implant trials can go ahead this year? Drop your theories below. Don't forget to give this video a...
Alright, yeah, I'm done watching the video. I thought that was pretty neat. And I do think the Neuralink is pretty cool. I like that. I did have a couple other things that I was going to maybe watch, but you know, wait, is this Chuck? Does he even make videos anymore? Nah, he don't really make videos anymore. I think I'm gonna do some programming. we're gonna do some programming. Is that okay with you all? Because put some music on, we can program and talk about stuff, and then talk about some crypto. All about the crypto, baby. Let me get everything together first. So what I'm working on probably will be like a minting form. Fetch from upstream. I wonder what they added. You updated the README. Oh yeah, literally the issue was that they updated the README. Honestly, might just clone the Taco Labs repo and make it mint. I don't need to make it. Yeah, I might just make it Minter, and then just strip it of the other stuff. Let me do a freestyle on the way. A bad idea to copy this.
This bitch up.
I said, I'm just trying to code, getting programming on, and I'm just making nodes. Blockchain, all I know. Hey, that's just Solido. ERC is on 20, baby, I ain't know. It's 721, is what I see, I know. NFT. No, I'm kidding. Only thing I know is coding. Hey, we leaning on that coding. Hey, you ain't see me, you ain't know me.
IoT, rise low, homie.
Know what I have to do? Go here. Open Taco Labs. We're gonna close this. We're gonna close this. To delete that and delete that. Okay. Delete. Oh my goodness. Need to delete you. Go away. Go away. Is it really taking that long? It is.
Remember that game of D&D you started when you were 11? What if it never stopped?
My name is Robert Wardoff. I'm a history professor at the University of